The golden age of gaming is making a comeback, right on your wrist. The newly announced Atari 2600 My Play Smartwatch is a love letter to the late 1970s, when video games were simple, addictive, and filled with pixelated charm. If you're nostalgic for the days of dial-up connections and arcade classics, this watch is made for you. But is it a true smartwatch or just a novelty? Now, Atari knows exactly what it's doing here. This device isn't meant to compete with an Apple Watch or a Garmin, for example. Instead, it's a celebration of gaming history. The watch has a 2-inch TFT color display housed in metal, giving it a solid, durable build. It's even IP68 rated, meaning it can survive dust and water up to 1 meter. And consistent with the retro style, it features a physical crown and buttons for navigation, none of that touchscreen swiping here. The real draw, however, are games. This smartwatch comes preloaded with 4 classic Atari titles: Centipede, Missile Command, Pong, and Super Breakout. It's not going to replace a full console, of course, but for quick bursts of arcade action, it's a fun throwback. And the nostalgia doesn't stop there. The watch faces feature a pixelated artwork, the sound effects mimic the original Atari beeps and chimes, and the straps complete the retro aesthetic. The whole thing runs on My Play Watch OS, a custom Atari interface built more for gaming nostalgia than smartwatch functionality. If you're expecting a deep app ecosystem, you'll be disappointed. But if you want a piece of Atari history on your wrist, it delivers. Now, you might be asking yourself why the name Atari 2600. It all goes back to 1977, when your original Atari video computer system was internally labeled as CX 2600. When newer consoles came out, Atari rebranded it as the 2600, and the name became legendary. Now, every time Atari wants to tap into this nostalgia, they bring it back. But let's be honest, this isn't a serious smartwatch. While it does offer some basics like step counting, calorie tracking, and even heart rate monitoring, it's nothing compared to what you'd get from an Apple Watch or a Garmin. I mean, this isn't a device that's going to spit out your VO2 max or anything close to that. Now, having said that, gaming on a smartwatch isn't entirely new. Apple has Apple Arcade, Garmin gamifies fitness, and even a Kickstarter project called Atari Gamepad tried to do something similar back in 2017. That one raised over $300,000, but never delivered, leaving backers out of pocket. They've long given up hope of ever receiving that device, which is a tale we've heard so many times when it comes to crowdfunding. Thankfully, this time it's actually Atari behind the project and not some unknown name. So who's actually going to be buying this watch? Well, not hardcore smartwatch users, that's for sure. But for gamers who grew up with Atari, it's a fun way to wear a piece of history. It might even be a collector's item. Atari isn't trying to reinvent smartwatches, just seeing if nostalgia sells. Pre-orders are open now on the Atari website, with the watch priced a reasonable $79 and shipping on June 10th this year. Will you be getting one? Let me know in the comments below.